Hello everyone and welcome to today's lecture. So today we are going to continue the topic of the professional ethics and we will see the rest of the things in the topic. But before we do that, let's have a quick revision of what we have covered till today and then how we will proceed forward. Okay. So when we started the topic, we discussed about the what is required to be done, what are the parts in the topic, like, it will be code of ethics, CA Act and its schedules and disciplinary mechanism. Okay. Then we saw the code of ethics, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4A, 4B, where we discussed about the conceptual frameworks, uh, fundamental principles, integrity, objectivity, professional competency and due care, confidentiality, and professional behavior. We then discussed about how to apply the conceptual framework, then what to do when we identify a threat, how to evaluate the threat with respect to identification, evaluation, and addressing the threats. Okay, then we went and discussed about the responding to non-compliance with laws and regulations. After that, we discussed both of the scenarios with laws and regulations when when the professional accountant, senior professional accountant, is in employment with a listed entity, plus in case of an audit of a listed entity. We then discussed about responding to those non-compliance, how to respond to those non-compliance, what are the roles and responsibilities of senior professional accountant and professional accountant who is discharging the audit. Then we discussed about the disabilities for the membership with respect to the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. We discussed the Section 8. We discussed the type of membership, Section 5. We discussed about the Regulation 5.3, who possess such qualification as prescribed, which is mentioned in Regulation 5.3. We discussed about the removal of name from register with respect to Section 20, restoration of membership, that is the Regulation 19. Then we discussed about the penalty for falsely claiming to be a member, that is Section 24. Significance and importance of COP, Section 6. Then we discussed about the qualification equivalent to the experience that I just said, the Regulation 5.3 in detail. Like, okay, what would be that qualification? Okay. Then we discussed about deemed to be in practice, the concept of deemed to be in practice and the definition of deemed to be in practice. That is Section 2.2 of the Act. We then discussed about the management consultancy and other services. We went through the whole list. We understood what is the difference between the Section 2.2 of the Act and how it, is different from something you can say Section 144 of the Companies Act. Then we discussed about companies not to engage in accountancy. Section 25. We discussed about the KYC norms. So till that, and we solved a lot of questions in last lectures. So that is done till today. Okay, in professional ethics topic. Now, taking this ahead, the next topic that I want to discuss is with respect to the maintenance of branch, and then we'll move to the schedules. Okay, maintenance of branch office. Maintenance of branch office is something, defined under Section 27. The requirements of that is defined under Section 27 of the Act. Now, what this section's requirement says and what this, enumerates, let's understand with an example. Okay. Because it is, better understood with the example rather than the plain bare section. Okay. For example, I have a firm. Let's say, for example, my firm is there, ABC. ABC and Company. Fine. I have a firm that is ABC and Company. Now, this particular firm, okay, is basically situated in one of the particular city. Let's say, for example, Mumbai. This firm is situated in Mumbai. So, I'll say here it is in Mumbai. Fine. This is Mumbai. My firm is here in Mumbai, somewhere in Mumbai. Okay, fine. Now, if I want to open another branch office, whether in the same city, whether in the different city, whether in the case of, any different, you can say, altogether premises within the same city. So what is the scenario? We'll understand one by one. Okay. Usually the provision says that each and every branch office, each one of such branch offices should be in separate in charge of member of institute. So each branch should be with separate in charge. Okay. uh who should be, in charge of that particular branch, and that in charge should be a member of institute, who should be member of institute. Okay, that is the one case. Okay. Now if I open a branch office wherein I say, okay, a branch should be, each branch should be separate, separate in charge with a member of institute. Now let's understand how and where the exception falls to this. So for example, if I want to say, okay, I want to open a branch office, but that should not have a separate in charge, or having a separate in charge, but not a member of institute, where these exceptions are there. Okay. Now, so first of all, let's say, for example, this instead of this Mumbai, let me rename the city. Let's say, for example, this is a hilly area, Shimla, hilly area. Okay. My office is situated, head office is situated in hilly area. This is my HO. Fine. Now there is an exemption given for the hilly areas, that members of the hilly areas, members having firm or, office in the hilly areas, head office in the hilly areas, can open, okay, their temporary offices in the city of Plains. So for example, there is another, basically, nearby city. Let's say hypothetical example, Delhi or something, nearby city. So let's say this is Delhi. Now here a member can open, this will be known as city of Plains. A member can open temporary office in a city of Plains for a limited period, but not exceeding 3 months. So I can open temp office over here. Okay. But that should be for the period of 3 months, not more than that. Only for period of 3 months. Okay. This office can be opened only for the period of 3 months, temporary office. The regular office is not required to be closed. No closing of regular office is required, basically. So regular office will remain as it is. So I will keep the Shimla office open. This will open. This office will remain open. Okay. The regular office need not to be closed. However, the correspondence and everything can be continued to the Shimla office, because, I will be giving all the letter on all the letterheads that, okay, this is the address. My office is on the Mall Road in Shimla, and that will remain open. The name board of the firm should not be displayed on the temporary offices. Okay. Other than the times where it is allowed to function. So for only the period of 3 months, we can display name board. Not beyond that. So if once the office is closed, name board has to be removed. The name board of the firm in the temporary office should not be displaced at the time other than the period of such offices is permitted to open. Okay. This office is not required to be mentioned on letterhead. Not to be mentioned on letterhead because this is temporary office. Because this is temporary office. So that's why I will not mention on letterhead visiting cards, documents, okay, as a place of business. Okay, fine. And before commencement of every winter, it is obligatory from the firm to inform institute that okay, they are going to open this temporary office from this particular date, and after the expiry of this period they will be closing, and intimation is required to be given. So about this arrangement, opening of new offices, temporary offices, I need to intimate to institute, and I need to also intimate at the expiry. So intimate to institute on opening and on closing both. Okay. If these conditions are satisfied, okay, then exemption is into a place means they do not require a separate in charge for that particular temporary office. So you can say this is an exemption one for the provision. Okay. Exemption one, wherein a separate in charge is not required. Fine. That is the first exemption that is available. Okay. Now let us understand the second exemption which is given. Now, second exemption is with respect to limit of the cities. So the exemptions now which are there, which are in case of limit of cities. For example, let's say this is Mumbai city. Let's say, for example, somewhere here in X area, okay, I have a head office. I have a head office in somewhere in the X area. This is head office. Now, if I open a branch office in the same area, let's say, for example, main address or head office, you can say, or any office, basically, this first office I will call is, let's say, for example, I give you a hypothetical address, 101, any, Phoenix Mall, Lower Parel. Okay. For example, hypothetical address, 101 Phoenix Mall, Lower Parel. Fine. Now, if that is a scenario, if now this is the scenario that one office is there, and if I want to open, okay, if I want to open another office, if I want to open another office within the same premise, that is, let's say, for example, second office, whose address will be, let's say, 201 or 301. 301 Phoenix Mall. Okay, Lower Parel. Now, if I am doing this, they are in the same premise. In that case, in that case, again, I have an assumption that I can open this second office without having a separate in charge who is a member of institute. So let's say, for example, this is second office, which is in the same premises. I'll say this is the same premise. Okay, fine, no issues. I don't need a separate in charge for this. In charge for second office because it's within same premise. The logic is within same premise. Now, let's say, for example, I want to open a third office. Okay, third office, which is in the same city, which is in the same city. Okay, in which I have a first office or any office. If that is in the same city, then again I don't need a separate in charge. For example, instead of T01 Phoenix Mall Lower Parel, I have opened a office, let's say uh, second floor, ABC building, Bandra. Okay, in Mumbai itself, somewhere down in Mumbai, third office. Now, this third office is again within the Mumbai city. And when I talk about Mumbai city, it's within the same city. Okay. Some people say, can, like in areas where you have a combined city like Delhi and Gurgaon, something like that. So, will it be counted as same city? No. City means as per the municipal descriptions and everything. If this is the same city, then same city. So Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, different cities. Mumbai, Thane, different city. So that's why we need to see the term actual city, not the how we interpret in daily life, but actual which are cities. The boundaries, municipal boundaries accordingly. So second floor, ABC building, Bandra. If I open the third office, again I don't need separate in charge. Why? Because the logic behind is it is in the same city. Fine. Third condition. Let's say, for example, I am not opening my office in Mumbai, but I am opening my office which is located, let's say, from distance of 50 kilometers from the municipal limits of city one. Let's say the distance between these two. Okay. So distance of second office is within 50 kilometers from the limit of from the municipal limit of city one. Okay. So let's say, for example, here, this is, for example, 20 kilometers. These are the municipal limits. Okay. This is the municipal limit. And this is also municipal limit. Let's say this is a Navi Mumbai. I want to office in Navi Mumbai. That is fourth office. Okay, now this fourth office, again, what I need to check is whether the distance of this fourth office is how much from the municipal limits. So municipal limit is 20 kilometers. Okay, end of Mumbai city and start of Navi Mumbai, there's a difference of 20 kilometers. Hypothetical example. Now from there, if let's say this is within next more 15 kilometers inside the city, this office. Okay, more 15 kilometers. Then the total of both is 35 kilometers. Total 35 kilometers from municipal limit of Mumbai. Municipal limit of Mumbai from 35 kilometers from municipal limit of Mumbai. In that case, this is again within the criteria of 50 kilometers. Okay, let's say hypothetical example. First floor, XYZ Bhavan, ABC Road, Navi Mumbai. Okay, let's say this is the one. I opened the office, this fourth office basically. Okay, now if this fourth office is within 50 kilometers range, I'm not required to have a separate in charge because this is within 50 kilometers from the municipal limit of the city in which the first office is located. Don't need separate in charge. Now the basis for this is within 50 kilometers from municipal limits of first office. So that is the second exemption. If I have an office beyond that, that is more than 50 kilometers, then yes, I will require to have a separate in charge for that particular office. Hypothetical example, I'll show you again. Just give me a minute. I'll show you with a real example so that it will be very easy for you guys to understand. Let's discuss in terms of maps only so that you will be able to understand more efficiently. Okay, fine. Let's say, for example, I have one office somewhere in Surat. Hypothetical example. Here is my first office. Okay. Now, if I'm opening second office over here, this is second office. And let's say this is the municipal limit of Surat. This is a municipal limit of Surat. And I am opening a second office, which is, within 50 kilometers. The distance from municipal limit and of Surat and the office is within 50 kilometers. Then no requirement of separate in charge. Fine. Now, let's say, for example, if I'm opening one of the office in Mumbai, let's say I have opened this office in Mumbai. Now, the distance between Surat municipal limit and Mumbai municipal limit, I'm sure for sure that it's more than 50 kilometers. Okay. Let's say this is the limit of municipal limit of Mumbai. Now, I'm for sure that this distance is more than 50 kilometers from Surat to Mumbai. Then, if I'm opening a second office in Mumbai, that should have a, let's say, for example, somewhere in the Mumbai, I have a third office. So this will require a separate in charge. Will require a separate in charge. Okay. Let me shift this on other side. Now, let's take this example ahead. Sorry. Let's take this example ahead and let's say, for example, I am opening another office in Mumbai itself, which is within same city. This was my second office. Oh, this was my third office. This is my fourth office that I'm opening in Mumbai. What do you say about fourth office? Do I need a separate in charge? For fourth office, do I need a separate in charge or not? Now, this is within same city. This fourth office is within same city. Do I need a separate in charge for this fourth office, which is within the same city? My first office is there in Surat. Second office is somewhere outside Surat. Okay. This is somewhere outside Surat. Third office is Mumbai. Fourth office is somewhere in within Mumbai itself. Do you think I need a separate in charge for this office? Good, Monish. Come on, guys. Do you think that we need a separate in charge for this office? Come on, guys. Yes. Okay. Good, Yeduwanalu. Good, Pooja. Good, Salesh. Good, Tanisha. Okay. Now, most of you said yes, this requires a separate in charge. Not understand first thing. When I say there's an exemption from that, a member there is a no requirement of a member of institute to be a separate in charge, means a member of institute can be in charge of two offices if any of the conditions get satisfied. So you need to also think from the point of view of member in charge. Okay, member who is in charge of the office. Now let's say, for example, the third office. Okay, the third office is under the in charge or in chargeship of, you can say, Mr. A. Now I can make Mr. A, he should be member of institute. Okay. Now I can make Mr. A in charge of the fourth office. I can make Mr. A in charge of fourth office, because for him, third office will be the first office and this will be the second office. Understand the concept. So I'm not saying you need to only see with the main office, head office. No, It is from the point of view of member in charge. Member who is in charge of the office can be in charge of two offices if the conditions are being satisfied. So here in our example, they can be in charge of two offices. If I open another office, let's say fifth office, okay, in Navi Mumbai, again, okay, this one, fifth office, then this fifth office and the fourth office in charge can be same. So for an in charge, we need to see what was his first office and what is his second office. And if the conditions are getting satisfied, then only we can say whether he separate in charge is required or not. The point we need to understand is from the point of view of in charge, not from the point of view of head office. Okay, so whether Mr. A, who is in charge in case of Navi Mumbai office, can also be in charge of another office in same location. Same way in this scenario, if Mr. A is in charge of Mumbai office, then he can be in charge of another Mumbai office also. Any doubts till now? Any doubts? I hope you are clear with the concept of exemption. Like I need to see from the in charge point of view rather than the from head office point of view. Okay. Thank you, Pooja. Tanisha. Good. Now we need to understand the term in charge. Okay, separate in charge. Reason because when I'm saying it should have it should be within under separate in charge, what that I mean by who can be in charge or what when I can say who is in charge of the office. So there are few conditions given which are which are required to be satisfied in order to be called as a in charge. Okay, so for example, let's say Mr. A in this case, okay, Mr. A is in charge of Mumbai, two Mumbai offices, but he himself, okay, he himself resides somewhere, let's say in Udaipur. Mr. A resides in Udaipur, okay, and he virtually manages Mumbai office. A person residing in Udaipur managing Mumbai offices, quite a long distance. What do you think? Can I call him in charge? What do you think? Can I call him in charge? Come on, guys. Okay. Okay. Good Tanisha. Good Sumit. Good Pooja. Good Shankara. Good. Very good, guys. Okay. Now, uh, with respect to this particular question, okay, whether he can be called an in charge or not, there are few things that we need to understand before we can, conclude whether he's an in charge or not. So first of all, the criteria which are given for, how to decide an in charge, okay, is if the member is actively associated with such offices, then only he can be called an in charge. So first criteria is active association, you can say. Member should be actively associated, okay, with such office. If he is actively association, okay, then we can be say it can be said that, okay, the person or the member who is is considering to be in charge, he's in charge of that particular office. That is fine. Now, there is another concept that there is a deemed association. Okay, deemed active association. For example, actively association means he is, continuously engaged, kind of, in matters of office. But there is another term that where I can say it's a deemed association. Association is deemed to exist, kind of. And that is applicable when the member is residing in the place where office is situated. If the member is residing in the place where the office is situated for period of not less than 182 days, that is more than 182 days, or he attends that office for period of more than 182 days, okay, in that case we can call the member is actively associated. Okay, so resides same place, or attends the office. Now these both will be for more than 182 days in year. If that is the case, then I can call this as deemed association or active association. Okay. If he is continuously engaged in the matters of office, then I can call, that member is actively associated. But if the member resides in the same place where the office is there, or he is attending the office for more than 182 days, in that case, I can call that member as in actively associated because there's a concept of deemed association. So, for example, if Mr. A, he is residing in Udaipur, he is not attending the office, but if he is actively involved in the matters of office, then I can still call him as an okay, he is actively associated. If he is actively associated, then he can be a separate in charge who is a member of institute. Okay, so it's not necessary that the person should be in the office, but yeah, he should be actively associated with the office, with such office. That is a condition for being the in charge. Now, the second question arises whether Such in charge is required to be a partner, or he can be in employment, or he can be in in any other capacity. So in that case, what do you think? Let's say, for example, here, if Mr. A, okay, if Mr. A is in employment, if Mr. A is in employment, can I call him in charge? He's a member of institute, and he's also uh, actively associated with such office. Can I call him in charge? Shankar, I'll take your doubt in a minute. Just let me complete this one. I'll definitely take your doubt. I have received it. Come on, guys. What do you think? Can a paid assistant, or a person who's in employment, can be in charge of a separate office, or should I need a partner only? Come on, guys, quickly. Either partner or paid assistant. Okay, good. Good, Charu. Good, Sumit. Good, Vimal. Good, Pooja. Yes. So he can be as a paid assistant, or he can be in charge. He can be partner, both. So there is no bar on, if he's a paid assistant. And in a while, I'll show you the actual form that is required to be filled for this particular purpose. Okay. So now let me take some queries on this. If the second office is located beyond 50 kilometers, but within the same city, will it be covered under the exemption? So again, beyond 50 kilometers of what? I am saying, when I'm talking about the limit of 50 kilometers, it is from the end of the city, municipal limit, not one office to another office. The limit of 50 kilometers starts where the city ends. Then, in that case, if the office is within the same city, then the kilometer will never come, because I need to calculate the kilometers once the city limit gets over, municipal limits gets over. So, in that case, it cannot be the same. Like, I cannot have 50 kilometers also in this within the city. That will never happen. Correct, Char. In that case, if the third office have a separate in charge, in that case, we do not require a fourth office, provided these conditions get satisfied. Same premise, same city, or within 50 kilometers from the end of municipal limit. The exemption is only with second office. Any doubt, guys? Any doubt? I think, Shankar, I have responded to that one, that I need to calculate kilometers once the city's municipal limits end, not from the head office or from the first office. Any doubt? Come on, guys. Any doubt? No? Yes, correct, Sumit. The office in hilly areas can be for the period not exceeding 3 months. Till 3 months, it's fine in a financial year. Basically, it's only year. The term mentioned is a year. So you can consider financial year. That is fine. Any other doubt, guys? Okay. If no other doubts, then let me show you one particular a particular form which is being used when it is required to be intimated with respect to the office and its detail by the firm. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me show you the form. So there is Form 18, which is prescribed in the regulations. That is, where the particulars of office and firms are is required to be given. Okay. If you see in this particular form, I'll just show you quickly. So you are required to provide of details of head office, address of head offices, addresses of branch offices, date when each branch office was opened, name of the member with membership number who is in charge of each office, head office and branch offices. So you need to give the details. Okay. Now with respect to that, along with their branch office name, names of member in charge and membership number. Okay. Then along with that, you need to provide whether the proprietor or any partner stated in above one. Okay. Here is partner, proprietor or paid assistant with another firm in practice, or whether he is in full-time or part-time occupation elsewhere. So paid, in employment, it is fine. There is no issue with respect to the in employment. Okay. Then again, all these details are required to be given rest of the details. So this way, there is one form where you are required to intimate, a firm is required to intimate with respect to the offices and particulars of offices and branch offices and their firms. Okay, there's a form 18 which is there. Nowadays you can also fill this forms from the self service portal which is there. So as from ssp portal, these all things happen, but just this is just a outline of the form which is given in the regulation. Okay, so there is one more doubt. If we set up a office in the hilly area every year for 3 months and close it, is that possible? Yes, that happens. Like, you can set up a office in hilly area, and then you open an office in plains for 3 months. So most of the time happens. Reason, because I'll tell you what is the logic behind. Uh, the logic behind this is, let's say, for why 3 months is because 3 months of winter period in the hilly areas is very at times very difficult to operate. Let's say, for example, I have an office in Ladakh. What will I do in this case when there are winters, November, December, January? Can I work? Can people come and work? So there is a lot of difficulties that is faced at that particular point in time. So that's why this exemption has been provided. Yes, the exemption is there for the winter only. That's why before start of the commencement of every winter, it is obligatory for the member or firm to inform the institute that he is opening the temporary office. So that's the logic behind opening a temporary office with respect to the hilly area and the plain area. Clear? I hope I'm clear, Sumit, with your doubt. Okay. Now, that was with respect to the branch office. We understood with a good example. Okay. Now let's proceed further and move to the next topic for today. The next topic that I want to start is the schedules. Okay. And schedules to the X, which is very important. Now, there are two schedules, first schedule and second schedule to the Act. And they are specified in the Charter Accountants Act. Okay. Now, the first schedule contains 4 parts, second schedule contains 3 parts, and each schedule has a clauses. So, let's say, for example, I'll just so I have a first schedule, I have second schedule. Okay, first schedule again contains 4 parts, part one, two, three, four, and each of the part, okay, has its purpose, like when they will be applicable. Basically, you can kind of say. Let's understand that also. Okay. So part 1 of first schedule is applicable for professional misconduct in relation to chartered accountant in practice. Okay. Part 1 now it is applicable to professional misconduct when it is chartered accountant in practice. I'll explain you what is professional misconduct, okay, and what is other misconduct. Part 2 is applicable to, again, professional misconduct with respect to, okay, member of institute in service, or you can say CA in service, basically. Part 3 is applicable to, again, professional misconduct, member of institute in general, to means to all members. And then comes part 4, that is other misconduct, which is again applicable to all members. Okay, these are the 4 parts of first schedule. Now let's discuss about second schedule. Okay, the second schedule contains 3 parts. The way we have a different parts for different kind of different requirements, same way we have this in the second schedule. Okay, in second schedule, part 1 basically again deals with my professional misconduct in relation to CA in practice. Second part deals with, again, professional misconduct, but this deals with members to all members. Part 3 is other misconduct, is deals to all members, means applicable to all members, that is there. Now part 1 of first schedule contains total 12 clauses. Part 2 of first schedule contains 2 clauses. Part 3 contains 3 clauses. 4 contains again 2 clauses. Same way, in part 1 of second schedule, it contains 10 clauses. Part 2 contains 4 clauses. And part 3 contains 1 clause. Okay. Now, what are these clauses and what are these parts basically? See, when I talk about clauses, these are the, you can say, areas where if a member commits any of the thing which is mentioned in a particular clause, then he can be held guilty of professional misconduct. For example, simple example, what is given in the clauses? A member is not, a member cannot, let's say, for example, allow to practice. A member cannot allow anyone to practice in his name. Okay. Let's say, for example, there is my brother. He's not a chartered accountant. He's not a member of institute. But because he's my brother, can I allow that? Can I allow my brother to practice in my name? Answer is no. That is not allowed. And if someone allows it, like if any chartered accountant allows anyone to practice in his name, then that chartered accountant will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now, where it is written that it is not allowed, that is written in clause 1 of part 1 of first schedule. So if you do anything which is contained in the clause, then you can be held guilty of professional misconduct or other misconduct as per the basically the the type of part or the clause it is there. When I say professional misconduct and other misconduct, what is the difference between them? Now, first difference between them is when a chartered accountant commits any of the act which is mentioned in part 1, 2, 3 of first schedule or part 1 and part 2 of second schedule, then he is known as guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. And in that case, once he becomes guilty of professional misconduct, accordingly his case or his matter is being uh, placed before board of discipline or disciplinary committee. So when we'll see disciplinary mechanism, at that particular time we'll see, okay, if a charter accountant, a member of institute is guilty, okay, of first schedule, then the matter goes to the board of discipline. If he is guilty of the second schedule, then the matter goes to the disciplinary committee, not to the board of discipline. Okay. So in accordance with the the matter, the person can get fine, penalty, and his matters then are referred to the various either board of discipline or disciplinary committee. So you can say the difference would lie based on if he is identified guilty of a professional misconduct, what could be the penalty or what could be the punishment that could be given. Plus, in case of other misconduct, if he is identified guilty of other misconduct, then what could be the penalty, how the procedures will work, and what could be the punishment in that case. That is the difference between both. Okay, clear till now? Uh, Shankara, section 7, that is with respect to using the designation of a charter accountant, I will cover with the schedule. Okay, let's move and understand these schedules. Okay, to provide you a summary, and then we'll go in detail schedule wise, part wise, but just let me write down all the clauses first so that you guys can have a clarity what it contains, basically what these clauses contain. Okay. So first schedule, part 1 first. First schedule, part 1. Basically, this particular part deals to the member in practice. Okay. And that is, if a member commits any of the act from this particular part, he can be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. So what basically this particular clause says? Clause 1, we total saw 12 clauses in part 1. Okay. So part 1, clause 1 talks about if a chartered accountant in practice allows anyone to practice in his name, then he will be guilty of professional misconduct. So allows to practice in his name, then he will be guilty of professional misconduct. Now there is an exception to that. Again, exceptions will be there to each and every clause that we'll understand. Except he is a CA in practice and in partnership or in employment with that particular firm. So exception is CA in practice who is in partnership or employment. Okay. Now we will go in detail. Once I'll complete the summary, we'll go in detail of each clause. Clause 2. If a chartered accountant in practice pays or agrees to pay commission to any person, okay, or chartered accountant in practice allows or pays, agrees to pay directly, indirectly, any share of commission, brokerage in fees, or from his professional business to any person other than the member of institute, then he can be held guilty of professional misconduct. Commission to any person. Okay. Exception. That is member of institute. He can pay to member of institute subject to certain conditions we will see, and specified person. We'll see what is a specified person as per the regulations. So the specified person is something specified in the regulation, and we'll see when we'll discuss the clause. Clause 3. If he accepts or agree to accept commission or brokerage from any person, okay, then he can be held guilty of professional misconduct. So a chartered accountant in practice accept or agrees to accept any part of the profits of professional work of a person who is not a member of institute, then guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. Now exception again is there. That exception says that member of institute and specified person. Okay. If he is, accepting fees from member of institute, that is fine. And specified person. If he is accepting from specified person, then it is fine. Fourth one, if he enters into a partnership with any person other than the persons which are specified, then in that case he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So basically, chartered accountant in practice, if he enters into partnership in India, outside India, both with any person other than CA in practice or such other members who are specified or having of other professional bodies having such qualifications as prescribed by the council, okay, or recognized by the government, the conditions are there, then it is fine. If he is not entering with them, if he is entering with any other person, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. Again, exemption, as I told you, that exception is member of institute or specified person. We'll see what are these specified person when we'll discuss in detail. This is just an overview. Clause 5 talks about if a member in practice is securing business either through service of a person who is not an employee of such chartered accountant, or who is not a partner, or through means which are not open to a chartered accountant, for and he is securing any business, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Secures business through person other than specified person, or through means not open to a charter accountant, means not open to a charter accountant. In that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now, exceptions are again here present. So, exception is that any arrangement specified in clause 234 with specified person which is permissible under clause 234 is fine. So, any arrangement with specified person as per clause 2, 3, and 4 is perfectly fine. So there is no problem in that. Okay. Then comes to the clause 6, where a chartered accountant in practice, if he solicits client or professional work, either directly or indirectly by circular, advertisement, personal communication, interview, or by any other means, okay, if which are prohibited or which are not allowed to, which are not open to chartered accountant, then again he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Through advertisement, solicits a client through advertisement, okay, then again he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Exemptions are there that okay, any chartered accountant can apply for or request for inviting securing professional work from other chartered accountant, and he can respond to the queries or sorry tenders and inquiries. So that is fine. So applying tenders and applying through another to another chartered accountant is fine. Applying to another CA and tenders is fine. Clause 7. If a chartered accountant in practice, okay, if a member of institute in practice, if he is, advertising his professional attainments, or for example, if he is, using any designation, expression other than the chartered accountant, okay, on professional documents, visiting card or letterhead, signboard, in that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So if he advertise his professional attainments, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Exceptions are again there that we will be discussing in detail when we will be discussing the clause in detail. So as of now, the exception is recognized degree. Okay. Recognized degree could be there, recognized by central government, uh, degree slash designations. Okay. If these are the recognized degrees, designations, or where, the institute or the council has permitted by MOU, MRA, in that case, that is fine. Clause 8. Clause 8 talks about if a charter accountant, in practice accepts the position of an auditor in a company. Okay. If he accepts the position of an auditor in company, okay, which was previously held by another charter accountant or a certified auditor, okay, without first communicating to him in writing, in that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Means with accepting the position of auditor without communicating with previous auditor is he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. Then the next clause is clause 9, which talks about if a chartered accountant in practice, if he if he accepts an appointment of a company uh, as an auditor without first ascertaining the requirement of section, like in the clause it is mentioned section 225 of Companies Act 1956, but now that section has been changed with the section 139 and 140 of the Companies Act 2013. So we'll use both the terms 225 plus 139 and 140. So accepts appointment of auditor without verifying requirements of section. In clause, the section mentioned is 225, but we will, that is 225 of the Companies Act 1956. Okay, the old reference is still there, but we will use new reference, that is section 139 and section 140 of Companies Act 2013. Okay, that is with respect to clause 9. Okay, then comes the next clause, that is clause 10. Basically, clause 10 talks about charter accountant in practice. Okay, if he charges or accept to charge any professional fee, okay, or any fee based on percentage of profits or contingent upon finding, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Just a minute. If he charges or accept to charge or offers to charge fee based on percentage of profits or contingent upon event. based on percentage of profits or contingent upon any event. In that case, he can be held guilty of professional misconduct. Exceptions are there. Okay, in this case, exceptions here are the scenarios which are permitted by the council. Okay, I can say scenario where permitted by council. So there are cases where it is permitted by council to charge a percentage base of amount as a fee. Clause 11. Clause 11 talks about if a charter accountant engages in any business or occupation other than the profession of charter accountant, unless permitted by the council, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So if you engage in any business other than the business of or profession of charter accountant, okay, then you will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Engage in any other profession or occupation. Okay. Other than the profession of CA, then you will be held guilty of professional misconduct unless permitted by the council to also. Unless permitted by council. If it is being permitted by council, then it is fine. If it is not permitted by council, then you cannot. Okay. However, there is an exception to this. Again, a CA in practice, a chartered accountant in practice can be a director of a company, but not the managing director or whole-time director. CA in practice can be director. Okay. But not whole-time director and managing director. Clause 12. The last clause for this particular part. Okay. That is, now this clause 12 specifies that if a chartered accountant in practice allows a person not being a member of institute, okay, or being his partner, okay, to sign on his behalf any balance sheet, profit and loss account, or report or financial statement, then that chartered accountant will be held guilty of professional misconduct who allows it. So, allows a person who is not a CA in practice, okay, not a CA in practice or member, not a partner, to sign on his behalf. In that case, he can be held guilty of professional misconduct. So that is a summary for the part 1 of first schedule. Tanisha, with respect to any other profession or occupation, chartered accountant that is allowed to be engaged in. Now the scenario is that there are other exceptions and other criteria that we need to fulfill. So when I will discuss clause 11, I will discuss in detail what are the permitted one, which are not permitted one, where we need specific approval, where there's a general approval, and those things in detail. But as of now, I hope you are clear with the summary. why I prepared this summary. This summary will help you to revise this particular topic quickly before any exam or before any test or any practice session. So no need to go to flip multiple pages or flip uh you know different sheets to see what are the clauses, what are the exceptions. I request every one of you to prepare such kind of summaries, because these summaries, these notes will be very very helpful for a quick revision. Okay, for your quick revision this will be really helpful. Most of the time when it comes at the time of exam, the problem is not that we have not studied. The problem is we need a quick and efficient revision of what we have studied. Okay, when I say quick and efficient, quick means that okay, within less time I can glance through the content, I can remember the content which I have studied, very fast. Like okay, if I'm seeing this one page, I can cover let's say at least 40, 50 written sheets or written pages of part one. Okay, if I can remember that 50 pages by glancing at one single page, then that is very quick. And when I say efficient, means I can efficiently remember what was the content of that clause. It's not like that, okay, I wrote three words and when I'll remember, oh, I remember that is clause one allows to practice, but what was the thing? Okay, no, let me check. A summary which is not, which not help you to understand the section or the clause or the part, then that is not an efficient one. Let's say, for example, there are three exceptions, but you have only mentioned one in the summary. So when you glance through, you will not remember the two exceptions. So a summary should be efficient, okay, and it should provide you a quick revision. So you need to prepare in a such a way that it serves both the purposes. Okay, okay. So what do let's take a quick 10-minute break. Okay, after the break, we'll deep dive in each and every clause. Okay, let's take a quick 10-minute break. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the session. Let's continue the session and discuss each of the clause in detail and understand its requirement. And then, we can carry forward, we can move forward. Okay. So starting with the clause one, which is, if a chartered accountant in practice allows anyone to practice in his name, then that chartered accountant in practice will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. So just give me a minute. A chartered accountant in practice allows anyone, or you can say any person, okay, to practice in his name as a chartered accountant, as a CA. Okay, if he allows anyone to practice in his name as a CA, unless such person, okay, is also a CA and is in partnership or employment with him, is CA and is in partnership or employment with him, then that is fine. So, to summarize, who can be a partner or who can practice in the name of a CA? If I say, who can practice in name of CA? So, one side I'll say allowed persons or not allowed. Okay. Allowed person will contain partner, employee, okay, or others. Now, all these three are allowed provided they are chartered accountant in practice. All they are allowed provided they are chartered accountant in practice. Otherwise, let's say for example, they are not chartered accountant in practice. Then what? Then in case of a not allowed, any other person, not a CA in practice. Okay. In that case, it will go and fall under the bucket of not allowed. Clear? So allowed person, if partner, employee or others, if they are chartered accountant in practice, that is fine. Any other person or partner, employee or others who are not chartered accountant in practice, even partner, employee and other persons who are not chartered accountant in practice are not eligible. Okay. So for example, I have a partner who is not a CA or who is not a CA in practice, cannot practice in my name as a chartered accountant. So a chartered accountant who is not into a practice cannot actually practice as a chartered accountant. If I am not even a CA and a member, how can I show myself as a CA? there will be a penalty that will be attracted to me in that case. And again, here in this clause also, the chartered accountant who is allowing such thing will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Clear? So it covers both ways. One, any other person who is not related to me, if he is practicing in my name, then an issue. If they are partner, employee, or others related to me, but they are not CA in practice, again, they are not allowed. Okay. That's the clause one. That clause one is pretty simple. There is nothing in that. Clause two. If a member in practice or a CA in practice allows, agrees, agrees, pays to agree, or allows directly, indirectly any share, commission, brokerage in the fees of his professional fees of in profits and his professional business to any person other than the member of institute or a retired partner or a partner or the legal representative of the deceased partner, then in that case, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. So basically, you can say if a member of institute allows such things, then yes, he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Sorry. Yeah. So CA in practice allows, agrees, okay, or uh, pay or pays to, directly or indirectly any share, commission, or brokerage. Okay. Any share, commission, or brokerage, which is, part of the fees, that is brokerage in the fees or profits or of his professional business to any person. Now, this you can call as an exception, that other than that he is a member of institute, that is fine. Then he is a partner, he is a retired partner. Okay. Then he is a legal representative of a deceased partner. Then member of any professional body. When I say member of a professional body, that means which is prescribed. Okay. Or such persons, or such other person having such qualification as prescribed, or such person having such other qualification. Okay. For the purpose of rendering of service from time to time within India or outside India. So in India or outside India, both, it covers both. Now, when I say that member of other professional body. Okay, for that I have regulation 53A1. This is specified in regulation 53A1. And when I say such persons having such qualification as may be prescribed, that is regulation 53A3. And we will discuss these lists. 53A3. Okay. So, but remember one thing, 53A1 specifies professional bodies, whereas 53A3 specifies qualification, because it is specified about qualification. So what is 53A1? Who are covered in 53A1? So in 53A1, Institute of Company Secretaries of India, ICSI basically. Okay. Then Institute of Cost Works Accountants of India. Then you can say Bar Council. Then Institutes of Indian Institute of Architects. Then we have an Institute of Actuaries of India. These are the bodies, professional bodies, members of which are being allowed. So if there is a member of any such professional body, then that is allowed. That is fine. And in front of that, you have a regulation 53A3. Prescribing the qualification. If I say qualification, that is in line with the professional body only. So when I say ICSI, the first qualification goes is company secretary. When I say ICWAI in cost one works accountant, it is cost accountant. When I say bar council, it is bachelor's in law. Again, when I say Indian Institute of Architects, okay, it is bachelor in architecture. Yeah, architect, whatever you call it, but it should be recognized, institute recognized in law. So bachelor's in architecture. Hmm. Then when I spoke about actuaries, so course of actuary, that is within the meaning of Actuaries Act. Okay. Other than this, there are few more which are covered in regulation 53A3. These are additional which are not there. Their professional bodies are not there. Generally because they don't have a professional body. For example, MBA, Bachelors of Engineering, and BTech, Bachelors of Technology. These three are additional for which they don't have a professional body. That is fine. But MBA, Bachelors of Engineering, and BTech are again covered by 53A3, additional one. Okay. So such members of any professional body which are allowed are as per regulation 53A1. But when I talk about such persons having such other qualification, then that is regulation 53A3. So if I share commission, brokerage, fees, part of his profits to with any of the person who is a company secretary, cost accountant, member of ICAI, ICWAI, bar council, then it is fine. Otherwise, it is not. Okay. Now, other than this, uh, there is treatment of goodwill. That is again, part in case of, when there is a dissolution of the firm, or if there is a death of a partner, then how that amount is required to be paid, because we have included this particular point: legal representative of a deceased partner. Now, when a partner dies, then how the share is required to be paid to that particular partner, and what are the requirements that we need to understand. Okay. And the council has, came up with a decision, and based on that decision, there is an excellent flow chart which is already given in the material. So let us see directly that flow chart, because that is very, very interesting one. That is on 19.46 of your study material, new study material, 19.46. Okay. Sale of profit or sale of goodwill. When there is a sale of goodwill, then in that case, what is the scenario? So there are two aspects. One, when there is a partnership firm, or one there is a proprietorship firm. One, if there is a partnership firm, if there are two or more partners and one of them dies, okay, the legal representative of the deceased partner can continue to receive a share of firm. This is in line with what we discussed in clause 2. Okay. Legal representative of deceased partner, he can receive, and that is somewhere also specified in the uh, sale of goodwill or share of profit. But that can only happen if the partnership agreement contains such provisions. If the provision is there in the partnership agreement, then only that is allowed. Okay, fine. That is pretty much simple of in case of a partnership firm. Now coming to a proprietorship firm, where there was a sole proprietor. Okay. Now, if there was a sole proprietor, now what will happen when the proprietor is no longer present? Or the proprietor is there, then if the condition is the proprietor died. Okay. If the proprietor died, in that case, there is no sharing of fees between the legal representative of the single member firm and purchaser of the goodwill of the firm on death of sole proprietor. So there will be no sharing of fees. No sharing of fees allowed in case of a proprietorship firm. Payments can be made in installment in case of a sale of a goodwill. So there are two things: sharing of fees and sale of goodwill. There are two different things. Okay. In case payments may be made in installment, provided the agreement of sale of goodwill contains such provisions. Let's say, for example, Mr. A, sole proprietor of A&P company, died. Now, the legal representative of Mr. A, that is Mr. B, decided to sell goodwill of A&P company to, let's say, for example, DEF and company. Now, DEF company agreed to pay rupees 45 lakhs on account of goodwill, and rupees, or you can say not rupees, but 5% of the annual profits, or 5% of the annual revenue from use of A&P company brand, or or the trademark, or the firm name. So these are the two things which are decided that they will be provided to the legal representative. Now, if we examine this agreement, that where 45 lakhs are paid and where the 5% of the annual revenue from the use of the AN company is paid. The 5% is sharing of fees, which is technically not allowed in case of a proprietorship firm. Now, coming to the part where there is a sale of goodwill, this is allowed and payment can be made in installment. Okay, payments can be made in installment provided that is contained in the agreement. That is fine. So, goodwill of a proprietary firm of a chartered accountant can be sold, transferred to another eligible member of the institute after the death of the proprietor concerned. But there are some criteria or guidance that is there. If that occurred before 3/8/1998, if occurred after 3/8/1998, okay, that of proprietor occurred on or before 29th August 1998. So both scenario are there. Okay, let us see one by one. If that had occurred on or after 30/8/1998 and the sale of the goodwill is completed in all aspects within the year of death of such proprietor, okay, in that case, the name of the concerned firm would be kept in abeyance. It means not removed on the receipt of that information, only up to the period of 1 year from the death of proprietor concerned. So the name will be there till the death, till 1 year, once the information is provided. Okay. If death of proprietor concerned occurred after 30/8/1998 and there existed a dispute to the legal heir of the deceased proprietor. For example, here this Mr. B, who are the legal representative. Now there is a dispute. Who is the legal heir of Mr. A? Who is, required to complete everything within 1 year? Like if there is a dispute, in that case, if there is a dispute, then that dispute is required to be, shared with the institute. Information of that dispute is required to be shared with the institute within 1 year of the death of the proprietor concerned, and name will be kept in abeyance till 1 year from the settlement date of settlement of dispute. Okay, so name will be kept in abeyance from 1 year from the date of settlement. Okay, if the death has occurred before 29 August 1998, in that case, such sale and transfer should be, completed and effected, and the institute's permission to practice in the deceased proprietor name is sought before the before August 28, 1999. Basically, within 1 year, that 1 year period, you need to take permission from the institute within 1 year that the sale is going to happen and someone else is going to use the name. So that is the scenario with respect to sale treatment of goodwill. Okay. In any given case, you get a 1 year. Now, 1 year, the name will be kept in abeyance for the 1 year. Now, that 1 year can be, from the date of death or from the date of settlement of dispute. However, in case of a proprietorship firm, sharing of fees is not allowed. The same is allowed in case of partnership firm, but in case of proprietorship firm, it is not allowed. Okay. Why we are discussing this particular point? Reason because this legal representative of these partners, if there is a share of any fees or parts of profit with a legal representative of the deceased partner of a partnership firm, fine. Legal representative of the deceased sole proprietor, not fine. Okay. I hope everyone is clear with respect to this. Any doubts? Any doubts? No? Okay. Let us proceed further. Then, clause 3. So, clause 3 talks about if a CA in practice accepts or agrees, okay, to accept any part of profits of the professional work from a person of a person who is not a member of institute. So, who is not a member of institute, provided entering into arrangement and of profit sharing and similar arrangement. Okay, provided profit sharing arrangement or other similar arrangement. Okay, including receiving any share of commission, brokerage, or in fees with the following is permissible. Now, who are the following? One, members of such professional bodies. And, or you can say, or other having other persons having such qualification as prescribed under clause 2. Now, if you see as prescribed under clause 2, member of such professional bodies which are prescribed under clause 2, that is simple regulation 53A1, ICSI, ICWAI, Bar Council, IIA or IAI. Okay, 53A1. So they have allowed, professional bodies specified in 53A1. Okay, for clause 3 also. And other persons having such qualification prescribed in clause 2 is again company secretary, cost accountant, bachelor's in law, architect, actuary, MBA, BE, BTech, all are allowed. Same as a specified under clause 2. So regulation 53A3 for such other persons having qualification. On the similar lines that is there for the clause 2, the same is there for the clause 3. Okay. So a member cannot share the fees with a non-member or person specified in 53A3 or with the members of the professional body specified in 53A1. So if he is sharing other than the member or these two categories, then he will be held guilty of professional misconduct. Clear? Any doubt? clause 2, 3, and 4, they are pretty much interconnected kind of thing, you can say. They are pretty much interconnected because they are on the similar lines. Like, agrees to pay an amount, agrees to accept an amount from certain person, and entering into a partnership with certain kind of person. Okay. So they are on the similar line. So that's why I want to cover all the three first, and then we can see their questions. Let's see clause 4. Now, clause 4. Clause 4 talks about if CA in practice enters into a partnership, okay, in or outside India, with any person with any person other than mentioned below. I'll specify which are those person other than mentioned below. Okay. Then in that case, he can be held guilty of professional misconduct. Now, which are these people who are mentioned below or will fall under to a category of other than the exception kind of thing? Okay. So the first one is, you can say, uh, chartered accountant in practice, CA in practice. Second one, which is allowed, okay, under this clause is other persons who are member of any professional body, okay, members of professional body. Then plus in this case, members of professional bodies having such qualification as may be prescribed, okay, having such qualifications as may be prescribed, that is the thing. And the next area is whose qualifications are recognized by the central government or council. Okay? And whose qualifications are recognized by central government or council. In those cases, that is fine. Okay. Now, we have seen regulation 53A3, such qualifications. But there is another requirement in this whose qualifications are recognized by central government or council for the purpose of permitting such partnership. Okay. So again, there is another regulation which will come into place. So whose qualifications are recognized by central government or council for purpose of permitting such partnership. This is very important. I'll highlight this one. Reason because why? There is a separate regulation, regulation 53B, wherein the list of professional bodies are specified, okay, or whose qualifications are specified, which are entitled for having partnership. So there was a concept multidisciplinary partnership firm. Okay, under Regulation 53, the membership of the following of the selected professional bodies has been prescribed with which a chartered accountant in practice can enter into a partnership. So let us see those scenarios. But when I say member of professional body, that is same with Regulation 53A1. When I say person having such qualification, again I'll say Regulation 53A3. But when I say whose regulations are whose qualifications are either recognized by central government or council for purpose of partnership, then there is a separate regulation, that is 53B. Okay, for multidisciplinary partnership firm. Now, what is the regulation 53B specifies? You might feel that is a similar line, but yes, let me tell you. Regulation 53B. So what it specifies that membership of the following professional bodies for entering into partnership. Okay. Now, which are these professional bodies? Okay. And what are these memberships? So I'll discuss both together. Like this is the membership and this is the professional body. So company secretary member of ICSI, he should be a member, he should be company secretary, member of ICSI. Okay. Then cost accountant, member of Institute of Cost and Works Accountants of India. Then advocate, member of Bar Council. Okay. Engineer, he should be member of the Institute of Engineers or any recognized university established by law or recognized under law. So member of the Institute of Engineers or any other recognized by law. Then architect, member of Indian Institute, the Indian Institute of Architects. Indian Institutes of Architects. Then actuary, he should be member of the Institute of Actuaries of India. With these, a chartered accountant is, allowed to enter into a partnership. Now, this we will see somewhere, with respect to the multidisciplinary partnership firm. However, having said that, it is not only the one side, it should be the other side also. For example, if chartered accountant is permitted as per the CA Act, then the company secretary, cost accountant, advocate should also be permitted to enter into a partnership with chartered accountant. So as of now, the institute has allowed CA to enter into a multidisciplinary partnership firm, but the same is yet to be notified by these professional bodies. Okay. So, as we understood that uh, clause 4 says that a chartered accountant in practice can enter into a partnership in or outside India with specified person, but not with any other person other than the chartered accountant in practice or such other person, okay, who is, not a member of any professional body or having such qualification as prescribed, including a resident, okay, who like they are here the resident is also covered under this particular clause, so residents are also there, even registered member who is resident abroad are also covered. So if there is a member who is resident in in any other country, okay, but he is entitled to get registered as a member, then perfectly fine, then there is no issue in that. So that will also be covered. So we are talking about member, a person who is entitled to be registered as a member or he is a member, those will be covered over here. Okay. Any doubt? Any doubt till now, till clause 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Any doubt, guys? Okay. If no doubts, then let's discuss few questions and then let's move forward. Okay. Let's discuss few questions first. We'll take one question on the branch office and then we'll move forward. Okay. With the other questions. So the question is that a senior partner, Mr. A, senior partner of ABC and Associates having head office in New Delhi, decided to open another office in Mumbai on 1/4/2021. In Mumbai, he appointed Mr. K, a qualified CA, as in charge for that office. So Mr. K, a qualified CA. Later on 30/10/2021, ABC and Associate also inaugurated another office in Pune city. For that office, they decided that Mr. K will be in charge till the time they find another suitable candidate. From 1/4/2021 to 31/10/2021, and then from 1/1/2022 to 31/3/2022, Mr. K was present in Mumbai office, and only from 1/11/21 to 31/12/21 he was present in Pune office. Considering the performance of Mr. K, majority of the senior passer decided not to appoint any other in charge for Pune office, and they decided to continue with Mr. K. Later on, one of the senior partners raised a question that how Mr. K can be in charge of two separate offices. You kindly guide all the senior partners with respect to the provisions, branch office provisions. Okay. Now, this is a scenario that one office was in Mumbai, another office is in Pune, different city. Okay. And by default, if I tell you the difference between both of the offices, like, usually Mumbai and Pune, it's more than 50 kilometers. Any given case, it's near to 160 or 170 kilometers, but that is, it's more than 150 kilometers. So distance between Mumbai and Pune, that is more than 50 kilometers. Assume that. Okay, so this is a scenario. Now you tell me whether Mr. K can be appointed separate in charge or can be appointed in charge for these two offices. Can Mr. K be appointed in charge for these two offices or not? Come on, guys. Can Mr. K be in charge of both office? It should be easy, not that much difficult. We have discussed this topic in detail. Okay, Pooja, good. Good, Monish, very good. Good, Vanchika. Come on, guys. Pretty easy. Just try to think whatever we discussed and apply the provision which is there. See, usually in exam we will be having a limited time to answer a question. We need to understand that also, that within that limited time frame we need to answer that particular question. Okay, so you need to answer considering the time frame that is available to you. And in exam, if you spend much of a time on one particular question, then you might feel that you have a very less time in other questions. So what happens is, let's say for example, initially we think a lot on the few initial questions. Okay, let's say for example, you started writing the paper. The exam started, you have started writing the paper. You will take your comfortable time to read the question, to answer it, to read the question, to answer it, to read the question and answer it. Let's say for example, hypothetical example, worst case scenarios, 1.5 hour or 2 hour has been 2 hours has been passed, okay, elapsed, and you have only covered the first three questions. Rest two are pending. Means in 1 hour you need to cover let's say six more questions. Let's say three in each of the one, like question number 3 ABC, question number 4 ABC, or 5 ABC, whatever you want to choose. You will have an option in that. So let's say for example, you are left with only 1 hour and you need to write answer for six questions. In that case, what you will do, you will get panic, you will start writing in hurry, you might miss out few details, you might miss out important things of that particular answer, or it may happen that you are not able to complete the paper on time. That's why it's very important in exam also, from first when you start writing the exam, keep watch on the time, that how much time you are taking to answer a question. When you prepare for the exam, let's say you give a mock test, you give some preparatory test, you try to solve questions by your own, try to adhere to the time. That is very important, because we will get a restricted time in exam. But when you will solve questions by your own, when you will solve questions in a mock test, or in a similar way for practice purpose, you sometimes take half an hour for one single question. If you keep cultivating a habit of answering the question in a timely manner, that habit will really, really help you at the time of exam, or in exam basically. Okay. So whenever you have to answer a question, just keep in mind, okay, how much time I have, in how much time I need to answer how many questions, and accordingly try to divide your time. Okay. So I have received the answers for this particular question. Now, let us understand first thing. The provision says that I can, usually a charter accountant or a member of institute should be in charge for a separate branch office. But there is an exception when it is within 50 kilometers radius from the end of municipal limit. I told you, Mumbai Pune, it's near to 160 kilometers, not 50 kilometers. Okay. So this is not within the limit of 50 kilometers from municipal limit. That is for sure. This is altogether different city or far away. Now, in that case, I can say that Mr. K can be associated only with one office. Now, for the purpose of association, I have provided dates in the question. From this particular time to this particular time, he was present in Mumbai office. Okay, this is more than 182 days. So, Mr. K was in Mumbai office for 182 days or more. Okay, for 182 days and more. And if he was there in Mumbai office for 182 days and more, in that case, he was not there in Pune office for 182 days or more. Like either you can be, you have a year, 182 days at one place or more at one place, then on other place, you will be having less than 182 days for sure. That is the logic. So Mr. K can be said that he was actively associated with Mumbai office, but not with the Pune office, and Pune office requires a separate in charge. So Pune office requires a separate in charge who is a member of institute. Clear? Mr. K cannot be in charge of both offices. I hope I'm clear with the answer. Okay. Any doubts with respect to this? Any doubts? Okay. If no doubts, let's proceed further and understand one more question. Okay, the question is, Mr. A started his CA firm after recently clearing CA final exam. He also approached Mr. K, his friend, who has cleared the exam but yet to serve remaining period of his articleship training. He had 2 months remaining in the articleship training, and Mr. A entered into an agreement with Mr. K that whatever client Mr. K will bring, Mr. A will pay 10% commission to Mr. K from the total fees charged by him. Okay, Mr. O, the existing principal employer of Mr. K, raised an objection to this arrangement. Mr. K has reached out to you to seek your advice and understand whether this arrangement is appropriate or not. So you tell me whether this arrangement is appropriate or is there any issue? Come on, guys. Is this arrangement is appropriate? Based on whatever we have discussed, you need to answer whether this arrangement is appropriate or not. Good Manish, good Charu. So whatever we have discussed, you need to think from that point of view right now and you need to answer accordingly. Whether this arrangement is appropriate or not. Correct, Vanshika? Correct, Pooja? Okay. If you say appropriate, then why? If not, then which clause you are referring? Vanchika, I have your answer. That is absolutely correct. That is fine. But rest of you, which clause you are referring if you are saying appropriate or not appropriate? If appropriate, then which clause? If not appropriate, then which clause? And if there is any exceptions you are referring to, then you need to specify that exception. Correct, Ravanan? So you need to mention that particular clause for that. Now in exam, when you will write the particular answer, okay, is it that you are expected to write the clause number? Is it that you are expected to write the section number? Answer is yes. You need to write section, clause, or in case of a professional ethics, not only clause, part and schedule also. So when you are writing an answer, you need to write, let's say, for example, clause so and so of part one of first schedule requires this things. In the current case, this is the scenario, and hence this is not as per the clause this of part this of this schedule. So you need to develop a habit of writing the answer with the clause numbers, section numbers in detail. A lot of student, what they do is, I'll tell you, they will write as per section 26. This is the requirement. But sometimes they forget section 26 of what? Like, at times in question also, it is not clear about which act it is specified. Let's say Chartered Accountants Act, Companies Act, Income Tax Act, whatever it could be. You need to specify section 26 of Income Tax Act, section this of this act, section this or regulation this of this regulation. Have a habit of writing regulation section clause along with from where it is coming. Okay, good, Charu, very good. Come on, guys. I need answer with clause number. I received only two answers where a specific clause number is mentioned. One from Vanchika, one from Charu. That's it. Okay. So in the current case, basically, okay, what we saw was in clause 2, if charter accountant in practice allows or agrees to pay. But in clause 3, if it accepts the commission. So clause 2 talks about paying the commission. Clause 3 talks about accepting the commission. In this case, CAA, okay, Mr. A, who started the CA firm, is promising to pay commission to a non-CA or member or to a person who is to whom he cannot share a percentage of his fees or profit. In that case, the relevant clause that will be applicable will be clause 2 of part 1 of first schedule. Okay. Clause 2, part 1 of first schedule. That will be applicable, and based on that, this is an improper arrangement. If Mr. A still goes with this arrangement, then he can be held guilty of professional misconduct. Okay. Let us see one more question. Mr. A was a tax accountant. he was having certificate in tax accounting from Coalition of Tax Accountants, a Section 8 company formed under Companies Act 2013. Certificate in tax accounting was a course developed and monitored by the Coalition of Tax Accountants. However, the same was not accredited by any university or board. Mr. A entered into an agreement with Mr. K, a practicing chartered accountant and specialized in audit, for sharing the client with him in lieu of 25% of fee sharing. All the work related to the client will be performed by Mr. K, and against that, he will keep 75% of share of fee. At the end of year, Mr. K paid a sum of 2,50,000 as his share of fees after deducting necessary TDS. Is Mr. K liable for the professional misconduct? So Mr. A entered into a partnership with Mr. K entered into a partnership with Mr. K, who is a tax accountant having certificate in tax accounting from Coalition of Tax Accountants. Okay, now Mr. K is a practicing chartered accountant. So Mr. K paid 2,50,000, that is his share of fees after deducting necessary TDS. K was supposed to keep 75% share and 25% was supposed to be paid to Mr. A as a commission. Is Mr. K liable for professional misconduct? He is certified in tax accountant. He is a certified tax accountant. So he has a certificate of tax accounting. Come on, guys. He has certificate of tax accounting. Good, Monish. Very good. Good, Charu. Very good. Let's say, for example, you have to write this answer in exam. Okay. So accordingly, I'll suggest you just mention whatever clause and regulations you are mentioning, and accordingly you try to answer. I don't want you write 10 lines, no, but at least if you are writing, answer of one line, or you should mention the regulation which is relevant, because this again will create a habit for you. Correct. Good, Pooja. Very good. Absolutely good, Saravanan. Great, Vanshika. Okay. If I have to write an answer for this particular question, just in a small summary way, not a big detail. Okay, first of all, what I'll do is I'll specify that clause 2 of part 1 of first schedule, okay, specifies that I cannot share with fees with anyone. That is a sharing of fees, providing commission to Mr. A. Mr. K is keeping 75% and providing 25% commission to Mr. A. Means CA in practice is providing commission. That is clause 2. If he was accepting the commission, then clause 3. Here, all the work will be performed by K. Against that, he will keep 75% share of fees. That is the main amount. And 25% will be shared as a commission. Okay. So now clause 2, part 1 of first schedule As per clause 2, part 1 of first schedule, a chartered accountant in practice is not allowed to share fees except uh, yeah other than basically other than person having such qualification or uh, or persons member of such professional bodies, such qualification and professional bodies. So that way I'll write the whole sentence, and then I'll specify that regulation 53A1 and 53A3 specifies person having such qualification and specified bodies. Then I'll say Mr. A is a tax accountant having certificate in tax collation, certificate of tax accounting from collation of tax accountant. And Mr. K is sharing fees with him as a part of the agreement. Hence, Mr. A is not a person having specified qualification as per regulation 53A3 specified in clause 2, or neither he is a member of the professional body specified in regulation 53A1 as specified in clause 2, and hence Mr. K is guilty of professional misconduct. If you'll write answer in this way, trust me, you will get appropriate and full marks for that. So I am, specifying the regulation 53A1 and 53A3 of the Charter Accountants Regulations 1988. I'm specifying clause 2, part 1 of first schedule of Charter Accountants Act. Okay. And accordingly, I'm writing the whole answer by providing appropriate references. See, if I write clause 2, part 1 of first schedule, still it is valid. But if I write clause 2, part 1 of first schedule of Charter Accountants Act, it is more appropriate. It shows that how much accurate you are with your information, and the reader or the answer, the reader who is reading the answer, paper checker, examiner, will have the clarity that okay, the person knows about the topic, the person knows from where it is emanating, and how the way you have written the answer creates a flow, creates an understanding in the mind of the paper checker also, so that you get the appropriate marks for that. I can write, just for example, hypothetical example, I can write section 8 company. Everyone will understand. Whosoever has the knowledge of Companies Act will understand what is section 8 company. But if I write company formed under section 8 of the Companies Act 2013, it's more appropriate. If I write regulation 53A1, 53A3, appropriate. There is no issue. But if I write regulation 53A1 and 53A3 of Charter Accountants Regulation 1988, that is more appropriate and more valid, because specifies regulation from which particular regulation you are referring to. So keep a habit of writing the full act, regulation, and whatever it is, the part it is. For example, when you will see the tax audit, okay, if something is related to that, in that scenario, we might write basically if if you are answering for a tax audit question, you can write in such a way that this clause of form 3CD, like this way, specified under income tax rules. Okay. So in such a way, you can, answer your question, and you will, the examiner will get good understanding of what you have written rather than creating the confusions. Any doubt till now? Any doubt? No, Vanshika, the question is not related to the clause 3, it is related to the clause 2. Reason because Mr. K is sharing the percentage. He is not getting the percentage. So, as per the clause 2, if CA in practice agrees, allows, and pays directly or indirectly any share of commission to any person who is other than the list that is given, then he is guilty of professional misconduct. So in the question, he was getting 75% and he's paying 25%. So the fees he will receive because he will perform the work. And if I am paying part of my fees to someone else who's not in the specified list, then yes, I'm guilty of professional misconduct under clause 2, not in 3. 3 will come when I accept from a person who is not a from the list of specified person. If I accept part of his fees as a commission or bonus or brokerage, okay, if he is paying me commission, let's say for example, in this case only tax accountant, okay, I am a practicing charter accountant, I provided him my clients. Okay, I provided him reference to my clients, and my client gave him the work. In turn, he paid me 10% whatever fees he received. In that case, it will be part 3 or clause 3 basically. Because I am receiving the commission because I referred him something. Here it is alternate. Any doubt, guys? Any doubt? Okay. So we'll keep till here. In the next lecture, we'll start with clause 5 and we'll continue rest of the clauses of the Chartered Accountants Act. Now, for you guys who wants to, access the material online or, want to refer to the regulation. So a lot of queries are there, how we can access the regulation if we want to read further, how we can access the, act. I'll show you certain websites right now from where you can, have the material with you. So let's say for this is the MCA website. You might be aware, you might have seen mca.gov.in. You go to the act, ebooks, act over there. You have a Chartered Accountant Section 1949. And in that act, you have all the sections over here. Plus you have schedules. If you see first schedule, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 1, part 2, part 3. This is a bare act. Bare act, bare provisions. If you want to access Chartered Accountants Regulation, go to other documents, select regulations in act, select Chartered Accountants Acts, go, you will get the regulations amended up to 110/2020. Okay. Then if you'll open the file, you will have the regulations, whole regulations. Okay. You can refer these regulations. Alternatively, you can go to the BOS portal. Like I went to the BOS portal online. Okay. You can go to the new study material. You can have final paper 3A, and you have all the modules available with you in the e-form. You can access from here also. Okay. Now, let's say, for example, someone wants to access code of ethics that we discussed in start, conceptual framework, fundamental principles. So from where we can do that? Simple. Go to ICAI website, ICAI.org. You can go to committee, non-standing. You will find ethical standard board. Ethical standard board. Go to there. And over here, you will have all the things. Code of Ethics, Volume 2020, Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3. So Volume 1, if I open it, this is a Code of Ethics, Volume 1, whole volume. Okay, revised one. And if you go below, like if you scroll in that Code of Ethics only, so there is an index, everything like, fundamental principles, like for example, integrity, The detailed code of ethics is there, like what is scenario in detail with explanation, subsection 112, 113, everything from where it is coming, the base document you can say. Same way, I'm sorry, I just closed that window. Give me a minute. Same way, in that particular, ethical standard boards page, you will also find amendment with respect to, code of ethics, with respect to nuclear and those amendments which were there. For example, this is with respect to uh, disclosures of the audit fee. We will discuss this topic in while. Then tax service will also discuss that. Then this is the no class, responding to non-compliance with laws and regulations. Section 260, section 360, a summary. So by this way, you can access all the documents which are already there on the ICAI website. And same is what we are studying and what is there in the study material. If you want to read further, if you want to read the bare provision, you can read it from here. Okay. I hope this information is useful for you guys. If no further questions, uh, thank you. Thank you for participating in the lecture. Once the session will complete, like the whole professional ethics, I'll upload the full notes over there. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for time. Thank you for participating. I'll see you in the next lecture. Yes.